Let's see how you doing.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Brad with my beautiful wife, Tiffany. Nice little pretty smile she's got on her face. And we're here this morning just to talk to you, authors of the Hustle and Flow podcast, brought to you just anywhere you can find a podcast. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content. We've been having a great time this morning, and we just got finished with one session, a really, really good session, and I enjoyed what we were talking about. But this morning we got a great session. We're going to talk about, good morning, Tiffany.
Good morning.
Tell me something fun.
Something fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's fun, but since we just talked about mindset, we'll pretend that it's fun. I am going for my first time to run the Coca-Cola Classic Saturday. Excited about that.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance it's going to rain, but that's okay because I'm used to running in the rain.
This is true.
75 hard.
Because your mindset.
Did that.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's just water, but we've talked about the possibilities if it's raining hard, if it's raining soft, what could it look like? But yeah, I guess that's something fun.
I don't know. It's fun for me. I don't know if it's fun for
It's
you.
way more fun for you than it is for me.
Yeah, and then I'm running Gumtree next week. You've got a Mother's Day. I say Mother's Day. You got
We're having a ladies' luncheon. Pretty in pink. You know, I wanted to do it a little different this year. We're already celebrating, like hitting Mother's Day hard on that Sunday, and we've got a special speaker at church. But I was telling the other ladies I would like to, for this one, let's celebrate all ladies.
Right.
I feel like in the day and time we're in with infertility and just some ladies maybe by choice deciding that, motherhood is not for them for whatever reason. I know a lady, good friend, who chose not to because of disease in her family and
Right.
and certain things. And so let's celebrate all ladies this time of year and take that day to do that. So I'm excited about that too.
Ladies' Day.
Yeah.
Ladies' Day. That's my favorite term to use.
You say it's Ladies' Day when you do not want to choose where we're eating lunch at. You'll say, or dinner, you'll say it's Ladies' Day. It's your choice. And yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, and we're going to lunch after this, and guess what it is?
It is not Ladies' Day. It's Man's Day.
It is Ladies' Day. So anyway, hey, we do love spending time with you and sharing our life with you, as crazy as it is sometimes and as mundane sometimes as it may seem to you. But we really enjoy what we do. And so our topic today is, I think it's going to be a good one. I do. I really do. And I think as we develop it, I believe it's going to help some people.
Yeah.
We're going to talk today about affair-proofing your marriage. Affair-proofing your marriage. Well, what does that mean? That means you're going to do whatever it takes to protect your marriage from having an affair, whether it is you or whether it is your spouse. And there's some things that really matter. And so we're going to hop right in. Let's go.
Well, and I've heard it said that there's no way you can 100% affair-proof your marriage. Well, yes, I realize that because you're never going to be able to control the actions of your spouse,
That's right.
your partner. I
That's
get
right.
that. But I do believe that there are lots of things you can do to make it real hard for the other one, for the other one to consider it or to guard yourself from considering it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about that this morning. Most of the time, all right, I will use that. Most of the time, you don't just walk into a store and all of a sudden a woman hits on you or a man hits on you and all of a sudden you're in the back getting hot and heavy and kissing. It starts with your mind wandering. It starts with your heart wandering.
Right.
It starts with lots of little things that build up over time.
Yeah.
And so let's just talk about some of those. Let's just talk about maybe where do you, and I don't know, everybody's different, okay? But where do you think maybe it starts?
I think it starts in dissatisfaction,
Okay.
whether it be small or big dissatisfaction. You may be in a place where you've been dissatisfied for a long time, you've been bitter for a long time, and you've had resentment that's built up, and that makes the door open more wide than if you're happily married. What is it you say about being married? Sometimes you're not just married, you're
Much married.
much married. Yeah, we heard a pastor say that a long, long time ago, I think.
And it's stuck.
Yes, and so I think you can be married or you can be much married, and some of these things will kind of determine which one you are, because having a ring on your finger is not the same as being happily committed to your marriage.
No, because let me just say this, and this is for adults. There's plenty of people who have a ring on their finger as they're holding the hand of the person they're having an affair with.
Right.
So it's not the ring on your finger that makes you married. It's the commitment in your heart.
Right.
And your commitment to your marriage. And so, man, you're right. It starts with dissatisfaction, bitterness, unresolved things.
Yeah.
And again, it's, I don't know, like, man, not resolving stuff. And I understand people fight. Couples get into it. Couples have disagreements, and there's things that they deal with, but never resolving those things. Yeah. And I understand that sometimes you may hit an impasse and say, look, this is just how you feel. I don't feel that way. And we can maybe agree to disagree, but we're going to be able to work through this, even if we don't necessarily agree on how we're going to approach this.
Right.
So
I know we've hit an impasse with certain things sometimes. I think I'm trying to think of any that really stick out. Friends has been one where we've hit an impasse,
and we're still at an impasse on that.
Well,
to
okay,
a point.
So
to a point.
now
Let's clarify.
We're at right now, because we don't have a situation in front of us. We're at a agree to disagree about maybe friends in the past, intentions in our lives and those things. But at the time when those situations were present, we were at an impasse.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, and we've been at small impasse. Is that a word? Impasses. Yeah, before, and we've just said, okay, I can go with you on this one, but that's just not how I feel. But I think if you're ever at that big impasse, then you got to get some feedback outside, because going back to what we just said, if you don't, it can build up into unresolved issues. Like people not agreeing on which church they're going to go to. Well, you're Baptist. Well, I'm Pentecostal. And we're at an impasse of, I'm not giving up this because this is what I believe. And you're like, well, yeah, you believe that, and that's a lot of extra. If you're maybe Baptist on top of what I believe, then you gotta go somewhere, because you're just, you can drift further and further apart, opening that door wider and wider for somebody else walking in. That's maybe I'm going to be Baptist till I die, and I'm just not ever going to, and Sally Baptist walks in.
Hey, what's up, girl?
Wearing Sally Baptist clothes. Like, I love Baptists, so don't get me wrong. We're just talking about this for the sake of,
Yeah. What up, girl?
Yeah. So I think that's what we're talking about, though.
You don't wear pants to church on Sunday night? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's an inside joke from our past, but you are right, and unresolved things and bitterness and impasses. I think that too. One of the things that I think also breeds the possibility for affairs is secrets and struggles.
Yes.
Man, gosh, so much to say there. I'm just trying to be careful. But secrets and struggles, we're at this point in our life, okay, we're very transparent.
We are.
Sometimes it's too transparent. I say that. It's not real. I don't know if you can ever be too transparent. I think that transparency is a God thing in a marriage. But there's sometimes that we tell each other stuff, and I'm like, I don't really want to know that, But, and it's not like icky stuff. I'm just saying, but like.
It could be. Sometimes it could be. Yeah,
I guess it could be.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing that we have developed a habit of doing is that if somebody of the opposite sex makes us feel weird or hits on us or just said something out of whatever, we don't hide that.
No.
We come home and say, hey, I was talking to so-and-so today, and I just want you to know this is what they said.
We don't open each other's Facebook Messenger to find messages that, that we've never discussed. If I get something from somebody, which I'm getting older, those are fewer and far between now, I guess. That's just whatever. But I would tell you, hey, have you seen this? Look at this crazy mess. We don't hide anything.
Right. We don't. And because here's the thing, like, I do not want somebody else. I want you, and I don't want some person to come between us. And so we do say that, like, I'm careful. And again, this, I may get crucified for this, maybe not. I hadn't worn a wedding ring in about 2 years. Now, why? Well, it's because I'm lazy. And I'll tell you why. Because I hadn't ordered a new one. Because the last one broke, and then I had one and it didn't fit, and it cut my circulation off, and I hated it, and I just didn't.
You know, I just had the perfect solution when you were talking about that. You've got all these other things on your arm. You know what it's time for? It's time for much married right there across your finger.
Much married. That sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll do that. You want me to do that?
MM, much married.
Much married.
817. That sounds good.
I can live stream it on my Facebook if you want me to. But again, even having that, I never want to. I want to be honest every time about if something makes us feel weird, and I'll tell you this, even to the point where, and we were in an experience not too long ago, with some people, and there was a guy, and he made me feel uncomfortable the way that he was with you, and not that y'all were doing anything wrong per se, but the way it was is that after, like, I'll be honest with you, I didn't like it. And, I said, hey, I didn't really like that. And I knew that you weren't doing anything amiss, but I didn't like it. And you can have those discussions because that was a struggle for me. It wasn't a secret, it was a struggle. And I think you have to have those kind of conversations.
Yeah. And our resolution, and I didn't really feel it or see it, of course, because, sometimes I just don't. But our resolution was, okay, well, then the next time, because there would be a next time that we were around these people, then we'll do this, this, and this. Is that going to make you more comfortable? And the answer was yes, and we have, and it's been fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it. Absolutely. And, I think that you have to, I wrote this down, you have to keep thirsty people at a distance. And I did a TikTok not too long ago about dealing with thirsty people. And I think that, let's be honest, not everybody's a Christian. Even Christians ain't Christian.
And I was going to say, I don't know what that.
Well, that
doesn't matter anymore.
Hey, not even Christians are Christians, but there's somebody out there that's hungry and thirsty for a drink of you, and you have to keep those people at a distance. And I'll tell you, you can recognize it. You can and I don't know if we've ever discussed this or not. We may have. As a man, I believe this, and men probably I don't know if you want to tell your wife this or not. Maybe, I don't know, but you can recognize when a woman is available.
I'm sure
you can. You can recognize when she's open to the possibilities of looking your way. And of course, here's the deal: most men are absolutely available. So if they're not much married, okay, but you do have to talk about those things. You have to keep those people pushed away.
Right.
We have also developed, and we don't do this every time, but I think the majority of the time we do this. Whenever we're talking with somebody with the opposite sex in a text, unless we're super close friends with them and we know them very, very well, we usually group text together.
Yeah. And I think of Chris Hussey. I hope it's okay to say his name. But, I think of Chris Hussey. I used to always put Amy in the text, and she was like, take me out of y'all's text because y'all have known each other forever. And, like, we all are, like, brother, sibling, like, whatever. And so, that is one of those exceptions. But I always start any relationship because of just different things I do need to speak with men sometimes. And so I always do try to include the spouse in that message until maybe they tell me, just take me out. Or they may never say a word, but they just may feel good that they're in there, just so they know that I'm not, whatever. But I think that's healthy, just like not being alone. I think in church we learn don't be alone with people of the opposite sex in a room, especially behind a closed door. There's no reason that, you need to be alone.
No,
and in this day and age
not.
with people, gosh, even if you didn't do anything, there's just safety in, not not doing that. But yeah, so there's so many safeguards you can take.
They are. So let's just talk about some of those. One of those I think, and this is, what is an affair for the most part? Yeah, there's two types of affairs. There's an emotional affair, and then there's a sexual affair, right?
Yes.
And both are terrible. Okay, Jesus himself said, if you look at a woman and lust after in your heart, you've committed adultery. So even the aspect of the emotional thought process is an affair. And, but we're talking realistically, an affair culminates in the act of sex in most of the time, okay? That's the end result of most affairs, okay? Not all, but most. And so you have to make your marriage bed a priority. Now, what does that look like? If you think in your terms, what does that look like, making your marriage bed a priority?
Yeah, we've talked about this on, I think, another one about frequency and learning how to come together, learning how to be intimate, that you've got to make time for each other. You've got to make time for the marriage bed. And again, that you can't really develop I would say, and I don't mean to sound judgy, it's just, this is the way I feel. I would say your marriage bed is not a priority if your marriage bed only once a month or, twice a month. Your marriage bed does have to be a priority, because let's be realistic. Both of us have needs, but I understand that your needs as a man are to have, you need sexual fulfillment.
That's right.
So I understand that. And I've heard people say, well, I think a man's excuse sometimes is, I cheated because, we never had sex. Well, that's not an excuse. There's never an excuse to cheat or to have an affair.
That's right.
However, one of the things I'll talk about is about taking your part. If I'm taking my part and I can't make time for you ever, and I've always got a headache, or I'm always too tired, or I'm always too busy for the marriage bed to be a priority, I do have to take my part in understanding your mind, and your door may be a little bit more open because I've not made this a priority.
That's right. Yeah. So on the converse of that, though, Tiffany, you make the marriage bed a priority because for most men, sex is a really important function of a marriage.
Yes.
Because we're just built that way. Thanks, God. I appreciate it. But we're built that way. And so, no, it's not an excuse. If your wife doesn't have sex with you, you don't get to go out and have sex with other women just because she doesn't have sex with you. However, on the converse of that is that if you're not making time for your wife and meeting her needs, which most of the time are not sexual, maybe once a year, LOL. But I'm saying, like, if you don't make time for her and whatever the needs are for her, can you imagine if your wife had sex with you once a month, you'd be frustrated. If you met your wife's needs once a month, guess what's going to be happening to her?
She's going to be frustrated.
She's going to be frustrated.
Right.
Now, does that mean that she needs to go out and look for Johnny Bravo that's at work and he listens to her and he just really feels compassion for her because he wants to have sex with her? That's kind of what most men that listen outside of marriage do. It's not because they care, it's because they want to have sex with you. And you can believe that or not. That's
I think women don't understand that. I think a lot of women that do fall into affair do not understand that his motive, what is the operandi? I don't know, whatever it is, is not just to be the best friend you've ever had and to be a good listener and to bring your favorite drink from the awful place Starbucks to you every day at work. He has an end result most always.
If he's straight, let me say this. If he's a straight guy, he's looking to have sex with you.
Yes.
No. If he's single, or I'm just telling you, be careful. All I'm saying is be careful. You got to meet your wife's needs just as much as your wife meets your needs. I saw the old thing is there's a woman picking up a prostitute. You ever seen that? Yes. And leans in the car and he says, "Baby, I'll talk to you all night long. Yeah. I will talk to you all night long." And that's the joke, is that women want conversation. They need to feel loved and appreciated and all that kind of stuff. And so meet your wife's needs as much as you expect her to meet your needs. That's kind of, don't just be Johnny on the spot when you want to have sex. Be that guy all month long.
Which goes into, talking about fanning the flames of romance. And, when we dated, you were awesome. Whoa, I got roses every I got roses every Friday, red roses. I think it was a dozen. I can't remember. But I'm not saying you're not awesome now, but I'm talking about the correlation of, when you date, you do all these things.
You're not ready for my response.
No, stop. No.
You're not ready for my response.
No. But, and so I'm just saying, though, that couldn't die once we've been married for how long did you say it's been?
33
years. That couldn't die of you,
right.
Doing things for me and making me feel special and making me feel thought about.
Right.
That can't die because you've been married 30 years.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
It bothers me, and I know it doesn't bother you if you're listening and you do this, but it bothers me when somebody says, well, he doesn't even get me anything anymore, so I just take our card and go buy myself something for my birthday. That bothers me. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know why. It's not my business, but still it bothers me that, why? Like, Can you not put some things in an Amazon cart? Like, say I would like any of these. That's what I do with my kids for Mother's Day because they kept on and on and on. So I put a Mother's Day wish list on Amazon, and I know they got some of the things because I saw on Venmo them sending each other money. But
market private, guys.
Yeah, but like, don't enable that. You don't have to do anything for me anymore because you're not going to get it right anyway or whatever. Don't enable that. Say, okay, well, if you don't know what to get me, I'm going to make you a list of 10 things and just pick one.
Yeah.
And, so keep romance alive. Like, I tell you the things that I like. I tell you my favorite candy bars. It is not a Three Musketeers. I don't even know why they still make them. That's the worst candy bar
awesome.
known to man. Like
awesome
that, there's like 2 or 3 that I don't even know why they still make them anymore. But that I love a Heath bar. I love a Milky Midnight. The new salted caramel Rolos. Like, my stuff. I love the other kind of candies too, the Skittles and all that stuff.
Yep.
But there's just so many things you can do to,
keep the romance.
Yeah.
But here's the converse of that, is that when he goes and buys you something and it ain't right, you need to appreciate the fact that he went and made an effort to do that.
Yeah.
And again,
well, like when I fuss,
men are silly.
Yes, I know. But when you do something, it's not that you don't get it right. When you spend way more money than I would have spent on myself. Anything I have brand name, like I have, I don't know if somebody's going to be mad because I said this somewhere. Like, oh, do you have those?
Whoa.
Like, I have Golden Goose tennis shoes because you bought them, and I was mad about it. I would never, ever, ever buy that myself. Other things I have, like, that if I have anything brand name that's not a knockoff, it's because you bought it. Mm-hmm. The fake Louis that I have, some of those, I bought them. If I had something real, you bought it.
That's
and
right.
So
because I'm the
if
real
I usually
deal,
fuss about you get me something, it's because you spent more money than I would spend on myself. Yeah.
Well, you do. So you have to keep your marriage bed a priority. You have to fan the flames. You also have to be patient with your spouse as they go through seasons. And look, man, life is tough sometimes. Life is hard. And your spouse may be going through a season, and you can't just go jump in the bed with somebody because your spouse is running through a season. Maybe they're depressed, or maybe they've had some health issues or whatever. That does not give you a license to go have an affair. You have to.
Or maybe they're overweight. Maybe they go through a season where they were fit and they were this, or when you met, the female was a size 2 and the guy was a size, 31 pants, but now he's a size 41 pants. Like those things that because he's just in a season where he's not motivated to work out or eat right or whatever, or vice versa with her.
Right.
Sometimes because we've been solid gym members for 11, 12 years, like we've seen that. Sometimes we'll see somebody in the gym that's like killing it and they're just all cut up with muscles, and then we'll see them out somewhere and they're with a spouse who is maybe not that way.
Not fit, right.
Right. And so that doesn't give you a license.
No.
Yeah.
No, and again, go back to men look at pornography, and pornography have professional actresses who are regimented and have these bodies, and you try to compare it to somebody who's bore your kids. I mean, come on, get out of here with that crap. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to respect them as they go through seasons. You have to respect each other.
Yes, how you speak to each other is huge.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Because you can get so familiar with each other and the more you spend time with each other, sometimes you can devalue and take each other for granted and speak to each other in a way that is not building up. And
not everything you think you need to say.
Yes.
If your wife is being a witch with the B, You don't have to say it and call her that. You know, you can think things.
You think more of your life than that.
You can think, okay, God, I don't really need to be thinking this. This may be how I feel right now, but you do have to be careful how you speak to each other. And here's the other thing. You've got to be careful how you speak about your spouse to other people.
Yeah.
You know, man, because if I am derogatory about you to my friends, there's zero respect there. There's zero respect. And you know,
that goes back to talking about fitness. You know, I asked somebody, you know what I'm talking about. I asked somebody recently, like, hey, because they used to come to the gym or whatever. So, hey, are they working out at a different gym or working out, anymore or whatever? No, they just sit at home and eat Twinkies and get fatter and fatter. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, well.
And that's just disrespectful.
It is.
It does. And that's not a fair proof in your marriage. Protecting your spouse, how you speak to each other in public. And here's the other thing, how you speak about each other on social media.
Yeah.
Man, that stuff matters because I want to encourage you. I want to make, you in a positive way.
And even if like you are so good at saying things about me on social media, and I'm so not good about it, but you don't tear me down, you don't tear our marriage down.
No.
Like even if that's not you, because I don't post a lot, and I need to post more. And I've thought about 10 things this week that I need to talk about because I want to look back and remember. And I love being able to look back and remember certain things, but I'm terrible at posting, and I want to remember like the thing we talked about earlier of what has happened with, God working out this situation that we were in this week, but I don't post about these things. But even marriage, like if my marriage is not doing great, the last thing I want to do is open that door to somebody else to see that we're having troubles or y'all just pray for me. I don't know if anything's going to work out between us. Who's a good divorce attorney? I don't need to put that.
No, because Johnny Bravo is going to shoot that message and say, hey, baby, I'm praying for you.
Yeah, and I got some divorce attorney money if you need it.
I'm praying for you. Let's meet for coffee and talk about it so we can have sex. But anyway, I go back to that. But that's the truth is that you got to be careful how you speak to your spouse, how you speak about your spouse, and just know that you do have a part to play in how this works.
Yeah, and because we feel so strongly about marriage and help and want to make marriages succeed, we talk to a lot of married couples sometimes, and sometimes as a couple, sometimes separately. But I was dealing with someone recently that kept telling me everything he was doing, but I could clearly see her part in it, and I kept pointing back to, but this is your part. Have you considered that if you would work on you and you would work on your part, that his part, some of the issues he's having might, no. Yeah. That with that person, it was a constant, no, I'm not going to work on my part because he's doing this is why I'm, whatever. And sometimes that's it. Like you may be in a place where you're distant from me and you're not communicating well with me, and I don't know what's going on with us, and I'm troubled by it. But then if I start withholding from you, withholding my emotions, withholding my affection, and just checking out of our marriage, then I've got a part too.
That's right. You do. Yeah. And that's the thing is that no one is perfect. Everybody has a part to play.
Right.
Nobody forces you to go get in bed with somebody else. You make that choice. You're on your own. But there are things that do lend itself to get you there. I think going forward, though, I think in today's society, you really have to safeguard yourself against emotional affairs that lead to sexual affairs.
Yeah.
Because it is so easy for somebody to lend an ear. And sometimes, I will say this, I will say this, sometimes it's unintentional. Sometimes that the emotional part does not start with intention of us sleeping together, that it does start with, man, I can see you're down today. Are you okay? Just a simple thing, are you okay? And it can turn. So you have to be on guard and be very careful about that because emotional affairs hurt really bad too.
Yes.
When you give your affection and your emotional or your love or whatever away to somebody else without giving sexual things away. And I don't know. You can answer this. I don't know. For a man, I think they'd rather have their wife have an emotional affair than a sexual affair because a man don't want to think another man has touched my wife in a place that is mine. But women,
women, an emotional
probably
affair, I think,
are hurt more by an emotional affair than a sexual affair.
I don't know about more, but I think, but I do. I don't know about the physical part being more or less, but I do think the emotional part does affect a woman more than a man does. If I told you I've been talking to, I don't know, which I don't know where Johnny Bravo comes, but if I tell you I've been talking to Johnny Bravo and, you know, he loves the way I cook and, you know, he thinks I make the best desserts ever. I mean, things like that.
You do.
Yeah. And you're going to be like, well, Johnny Bravo needs to go back to, you know, wherever back to Memphis and like whatever he's, you know, that needs to stop. But if you told me like, I've been talking to whoever, and she loves, like, she watches me work out, my videos, and she just thinks I'm awesome and whatever. And, you know, that affects me way more.
You'd be like, where this woman at?
Right.
I'm headed to her house.
Because, you know, that's the part of being a Christian I struggle with. I have a very thug mentality.
Yeah.
When my first thought sometimes is not, I'm going to pray for them or pray about this. It is, where can we fight?
I'm going to punch him and pray for him.
Yeah, you know, somebody said something to you, and my first thought, I said, I'm going to punch him in the nose.
Punch and pray, baby. Punch and pray.
And I know, and I'm serious. I really do struggle with being a thug sometimes in my head. But you're right, though. Women and men do view that part of it differently.
Well, and you got to be careful. So I think you really have to be on guard in today's society for sure. And with the advent of social media, and listen, again, I've told you, I love social media, but the advent of social media is so scary because of the exposure that you have at any given time. Look, man, like I look at fitness stuff all the time, and can I just tell you, like, there's half-naked women working out, and like I'm like, whoa, you know, and it's not that I'm searching for half-naked women working out. It's just that like,
not in your search engine.
No, but I'm saying, but if you know the algorithms and things like that, you just got to be careful with that. But more than that, you've got to control your social media environment, control your friend group, control the people who message you, the people who you talk to without your spouse. You got to control that kind of stuff, and you got to control the emotion that comes with it. And again, you know, we want to encourage you. There's some of you listening right now as we get ready to finish. There's some of you listening right now that are on the verge of taking that step. And we want to caution you. It is not a step you want to take. It is very hurtful. It is very hard to come back from. It is one of those things that it can really, really be problematic. And I can tell you, it can cost you your life. There are jealous people out there. You don't know how people react to this kind of stuff. There are people who will cause you issues your whole life by making that step. And listen, I can tell you, no matter where you are in your marriage, God can turn it around. God can change your life. God can change your marriage. Even if you've had an affair and you're just coming out of it, there's hope on the other side. But we want to encourage you, do everything you can to affair-proof your marriage and fight for your marriage. Fight for your spouse. There's a reason you fell in love with them. There's a reason you gave them roses when you were little and young. And there's many reasons. But there's something about them that you love and you like. Go back and find that first love again. Any parting thoughts here?
Yeah, just again, hitting no secrets. No secrets. You know, open dialogue, no secrets, respect, gratitude. Be thankful that you found somebody, because you may not be all that. You may not get so lucky again.
Well, you may be all that, but not have the bag of chips. You know what I'm saying?
And then just also, you know, count the cost, because don't get headlong into something and be caught up in something before you even know what happened. You need to count the cost if you have kids, on your spouse. Like, that's a hurt like no other. Is it really worth the cost? Yeah.
Man, what a great word to finish with, because I will tell you, affairs are expensive.
Yeah.
Not just financially, but they are expensive to the cost of your peace, your marriage, your kids, your family, and generations after you. So be careful, be careful, be careful.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, thanks so much for listening. We encourage you to get in the flow of life. Find people who are flowing in the way you want to go. Jump in there with them. Thank you so much for listening. Talk to you soon.
Hey. Yeah. Let's see how you do under pressure.